What's going on, everybody? It's your boys with No Days Off DFS here to bring you that NBA slate breakdown. We got a 6-gamer, a ton of tanking teams on today's slate. A ton. We got Washington, we got Chicago, we got Indy, we got Brooklyn, we got Utah, the Pelicans, because they ain't got nothing to play for. The teams that actually got something to play for, which is crazy, is Minnesota. Oh shoot, the Bucks are on today's slate too. That's crazy. Miami, Toronto, they got something to play for. The Charlotte Hornets, Boston Celtics, because they still can all fall down to 3, if I'm not mistaken. So a little bit of something to be seen in a couple of these games. And actually, it's funny I said that because I literally just was able to pull something up on my phone. So looking at it right now, the Timber Pups can go anywhere between 5, 6, and 7 in regards to their seeding that they could get stuck with. The Celtics can be between 2 and 3 currently right now. The Charlotte Hornets have a chance to get all the way up to the 5 seed, which is kind of crazy. The Miami Heat, same thing for them, up to the 5 seed. That really kind of looks like that's just it on this main slate. Of course, we got some later games going on, but hey, who cares? Real quick, a pause from this NBA. I know I got a comment or two yesterday talking about some, no one cares about the WNBA. Bro, y'all care because you're making that comment about it. That's the first and foremost thing. And when summer comes and we're breaking down the WNBA slates and we got that 10K up to first where we can win some money, you're going to care to watch these breakdowns and stuff. If you don't know, you're going to know. WNBA is still, no, it's not as great. No dunks, no craziness and stuff like that necessarily of the NBA, but still the talent, it can be there. Sure, you might not like watching women make layups. Yes, we have more of the Caitlin Clark slowly coming in, and of course women evolving their game to take these crazy 3-point shots and stuff like that. And I promise you, pick a team, latch onto that team, enjoy the highs, enjoy the lows, just like you do with anything else, and you will come to enjoy the WNBA. I'm a Dallas Wings fan. We have been through some highs, we have been through some lows, and right now we're kind of in the middle. We're in the middle. And it's just it's an exciting time. Definitely, I love it. Angel Reese is going to Atlanta. Those tickets skyrocketed. So anyone that wants to talk crap in regards to what she can bring to the game, what she still brings to the game, you are legit living in delusional land. And I'm gonna go on this rant. I was gonna say this for the WNBA because when you look at it, the fact that you're pairing her with a point guard that not necessarily has to score, and is now she's gonna have 3 options out there. You got Alicia Gray, who made a significant jump last season with her 3-point shooting. Ryan Howard, who is a very good 3-point shooter and also a good wing out there playing defense, can also go get her own shot, 3-level scorer, truly out there for Rye. And now you're going to add in a system that already wanted to play fast but didn't actually get to play fast. And it didn't make sense because if you guys remember this last season, they came out and said they wanted to play fast, but you have Brianna Jones and Brittany Griner over there. Didn't make sense what you were telling us that you were trying to do with 2 actual centers. Now you have a power forward / center who truly can get up and down the court. But not only that, her game is, I'm not going to fully say Joker-like, but she has a well-rounded game to where she can lead a fast break. She was putting some of those point center roles, point forward roles that we saw last season for the Sky, and that's going to be able to pay dividends, especially when you're able to get those outlet pass to a streak in Canada that's going for easy cut, Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard, something like that. You get the offensive rebound. What is the easiest shot when you get an offensive rebound? Threes. And now you're going to have at least 3 straight up good shooters out there with you in Canada who can knock down a 3-point shot. Ryan Howard, who definitely can knock down, and Alicia Gray, who only improved and is going to continue to improve. It's up for Atlanta. It is up, and I can't wait to watch that. Anyway, getting on over here for the NBA. Real quick, going to go ahead and look over the injury report for the day. Of course, like I said, we got the tanking teams, and honestly, some news was dropping throughout the morning. That's why I waited so late to go ahead and do this, because I realized yesterday after I posted the video, of course, some news dropped out. So Chicago Bulls taking on the Washington Wizards over here for them inside of this game. Currently right now, Chicago, they're just running out like a B-ish lineup over there for them. Buzelis is out, Josh Giddey is out, Nick Richards is out, and Anthony Simons is out as well. Over here for the Washington Wizards, currently right now, D'Lo, Alex Sarr, Vuk is out, Trey Johnson is out, D'Angelo Russell is out, Anthony Davis is out. So we're going to see a pretty interesting lineup, especially over here for Washington. Of course, we just recently saw Reese. He got some extended minutes to run, and he's been looking pretty good, which is Angel Reese's younger brother over there. He looks actually good for the stat padding that he can do. Being a traditional like regular center or something like that, I really don't think so, because he does seem like he's very much a small center, like a Nas Reed type of player. So I don't see that necessarily being in the future. But what he can actually bring is special on the board. So that might just be a DNA thing in the family, man. Minnesota Timberpups taking on the Indiana Pacers. Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels are out over here. Indiana Pacers definitely want to pay attention to the starting lineup and what they do over here. Jarris Walker, he's listed as questionable. Ben Shepherd is questionable. Obi Top Dog is probable to play. McConnell, Nimberhard, Neesmith, and Pascal Siakam are all listed as out. The Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Brooklyn Shitters over here for them. Giannis, Kyle Kuzma, Kevin Porter Jr., Bobby Portis, Rollins, Gary Trent Jr., Miles Turner, all listed as out over here for the Milwaukee Bucks. For the Brooklyn Nets, Claxton, Clowney, Terrence Mann, Zaire Williamson, all out. Seraph is listed as probable. Big thing over here in this Milwaukee Bucks thing, we have probably seen not only the last season of Doc Rivers for Milwaukee, but more than likely the last season that we're going to see Giannis in the Bucks jersey. I'm seeing a lot of reports and stuff like that, just breaking down in regards to what happened, trade deadline and stuff like that for Giannis with the Bucks on the season. And then just some, of course, locker room turmoil over there for the Bucks as well. So it's like they're going ahead and getting ahead of it to paint the picture of why we're moving on from Giannis, why we're moving on from Doc Rivers and things like that. So we're not going to be surprised when the end of the season comes in. Both those things happen. Miami Heat taking on Toronto. Some news already dropped for them. Jovic is out. Terry Rozier, of course, he's out. Tyler Hero probable. Norman Powell, he's expected to play. Wiggins is in and all the good stuff. Over here for Toronto, Iman Quickly is listed as questionable. He's missed the last couple of games. If he's going to be out, we're probably going to still get Shaheed or a Walker into the starting lineup. Other than that, CMB is questionable. Sandro is listed as questionable as well over there for them. Charlotte Hornets taking on the Boston Celtics. Only thing is that Kobe White was a downgrade, so Kobe is more than likely probably going to be out. Boston Celtics, no news over there for them. And I mean, Jason Tatum is looking like regular old Jason Tatum. And then last but not least, New Orleans Pelicans taking on the Utah Jazz. Some news that we recently just got, that Ace Bailey is now listed as doubtful. Cal Filipowski has been upgraded to probable. Collier, Keontae George, Harkless, Lord Larkin, all listed out for Utah. And then for the Pelicans, Misi just got downgraded. So we might, if they decide that they're going to give it back to us, we might get Derek Queen back into the starting lineup over here for the New Orleans Pelicans, which would be kind of a good spot going up against the Utah Jazz. And after he just burned a ton of people the other day, where he didn't look all that great out there at some pretty high ownership, picking up a bunch of ticky-tacky fouls for no damn reason. If you guys are new here, you guys enjoy the content, hit the subscribe button so you guys don't miss in the sauce and stuff your boy does drop off here on the channel. Drop a like on this video, and my other videos, content, anything that you guys do enjoy, go ahead, drop it. All right, Chicago Bulls taking on the Washington Wizards over here. Honestly, you're gonna more than likely end up getting a couple pieces from this game, especially for the injuries and stuff that they have going on. Colin Sexton, him being listed over here with that questionable tag. If he's gonna be out, I mean, I don't think he's going to be out. I actually do think that he starts over here for them. If he's going to be there, Colin Sexton, don't mind that price tag. 6,300 is okay, especially for the amount of minutes that he should be out there playing. At least 30 minutes. He should definitely be out there playing. Trey Jones, of course, no Josh Giddey, no Buzelis, balls in his hands, the scoring, the assisting, all those things. As long as he's going to be out there and he's going to be controlling the rock, I definitely don't mind paying the 6,900 for him. Both these two options are perfectly okay. I will say Trey Jones, of course, we get a boost if there is no Colin Sexton. Miller, he is honestly like the surprise-ish one over here. He's been playing some really great ball. The matchup, of course, is really great for him going up against the Washington Wizards. We literally can play 1 through 5. I don't hate that at all if you rather drop down there to the value. And then, of course, with no Nick Rich, no Smith or anything like that, Yabusele, he's been getting a start over the last couple of games. He looks all right. 5K, decent value option you can get to at the center spot. Not a must play, but definitely something you can go towards. You can play him in the power forward spot, which actually kind of helps a little bit as well, having that dual eligibility, but definitely something you can go to. I kind of would rather get up here to Leonard Miller, though, if I'm going to be honest. Isaac Okoro, Rob Dillingham, GPP options. If Olbrich, if he's actually playing in there, that's just like a deep punt option. Not going to get you a 0, but not a must play at all whatsoever. Washington Wizards over here for them. Will Riley, definitely look towards him. He's playing minutes. He's one that I want to get to. Koulibaly, those minutes, they've been teetering back off again, so not really looking towards Koulibaly. Same thing for Bub Carrington. The minutes are teetering off, not really looking towards Bub Carrington. Instead, it's Will Riley I want to look towards. Leaky Black, we've seen him play some pretty significant minutes. Champagny, not going to go in his direction. Reese, especially if they're going to be without Vuk, Reese will be someone else that we could look towards as well. Between Reese and Gill, both of these guys pretty much kind of should be splitting those centers minutes, and depending on if they actually start Reese again. Reese did get the start last game, played 44 minutes in that game versus the Brooklyn Shitters. So definitely, rightfully so, Reese will probably be highly owned, especially if he does get started here, again, going up against Chicago Bulls. But Reese, Will Riley, Leaky Black, Watkins, Hardy, Gill, Cooper. Those are going to be the guys you want to look to. Cooper was a weird DNP-ish last game. I didn't understand why he didn't get as much run as he should have. And the same thing with Jaden Hardy. So those two will be more of the risky plays that you can mess with over here. I would definitely just be focused more on the Reese, the Leaky Black, the Will Riley would be the main ones that you want to get to over there. And I will say if Gill gets to start, perfectly fine. But if Reese is active, I would rather play Reese over Gill, to be honest. Minnesota Timberpups, again, another one where 1 through 5 can be in play. Indiana Pacers. I don't know why they waited until they're, well, I do actually know why, because of course they pretty much solidified their lottery odds like what they wanted to do, but they're showing that they can actually still play in games. Over here, of course, Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, both these guys in play. Rudy is in a smash of a spot. We have seen continuously opposing centers be able to crush going up against the Indiana Pacers, no matter who they have out there. We just saw Thomas freaking Bryant drop 34 fantasy points. Rudy Gobert double should definitely be within the cards. He should be able to go out here and do it. No Anthony Edwards, so more usage and upside, more shots to go over there for him. Ayo Dosunmu, this is a bounce back position in the spot. I really do like the upside, but I will say no Anthony Edwards. We can go right back down here to Bones Highland. 5,300 is not bad at all. He should be out there playing 25 plus ish minutes, and we know the upside is legit, it's real, and it should be pretty good for him. So definitely be looking towards Bone Highland as a potential option in play. Dante would be your GPP option, and then if you want to get crazy and funny, you can mess with Nas Reed. He should be out there. I mean, if you think Rudy gets into foul trouble or something like that, Nas should be out there. But I would rather just pivot down here if I'm taking something off the bench, going with Bones Highland. I mean, back-to-back games where you've at least scored over 15 points, and actually one of the pieces that I do want to take in a parlay, I want to take Bones Highland for either 15 points or take him for 3 threes. One of those two options to definitely be able to happen for him on tonight, and I really would probably feel safer with the 15 points over the 3 threes, if I'm going to be honest. Mike Conley, he's getting the start, but he's not really playing too many minutes. Definitely a GPP option if you want to go there, but not a must play at all whatsoever. Over here on the Indiana Pacers side of things, if we're going to get Michael Potter out there starting, then I will have a little bit of interest. Or if it's Jay Huff, we know Jay Huff, he can go out there and stretch the floor. But I would rather just pivot down here to Potter, because Potter should see the bulk of the minutes. The matchup going up against Rudy Gobert, not the prettiest in the world, but the only reason why it's okay is because Potter actually shoots threes. Rudy dropped big, so I perfectly am fine with taking Michael Potter for the upside that bro will be out there being able to hit those threes and knock those down. If Jarris Walker is back, GPP option, not really too sure how many minutes he actually comes out here and plays, so would want to pay attention to that right there. Definitely can mess with Quentin Jackson. If Jarris Walker is going to be out, definitely will go right back to my boy Kobe Brown as a potential option in play. I like the price tag. 4,400 is not bad at all. Matchup, we just saw Miles Bridges go out here and drop 46 fantasy points going up against him for opposing power forwards, so definitely can mess with Kobe right there as a potential play. Coleslaw, you can mess with that right there, especially with the people that they have already out over here. And then Ethan Thomas, if he's not starting, he's coming off the bench, GPP option, but definitely we do know that he does have a ceiling upside to be able to go out there and pop off. Depending on who actually get the start, if Ben Shepherd's going to be out, then definitely we can look towards a Cam Jones, because he should actually be able to see a bit more minutes out there. Of course, with Quentin Jackson probably getting the bulk of those minutes over there for them. Milwaukee Timber, Jesus Christ, I'm mixing teams up so bad. Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Of course, with everyone being out, this is Ousmane Dieng's team. Like, Oos is loose. Oos is doing everything, but the price, 7,200, is a bit rich. I would rather pivot to some other direction if I can, instead of going over here to Oos. I will say that this does boost some spots for like guys like Jericho Sims, who should be out there getting some minutes. Pete Nance should be out there getting some pretty good minutes. AJ Green, like, this is a spot where he can go out here and just knock down threes and just play free, if we're going to be very honest. Definitely would be looking towards some of these cheaper options that they have over here, but sticking with the young guys is going to be the main thing that I would do over here for these guys. On the Brooklyn Nets side of things, Torrey, especially if Scarf's going to be out, then you're going to pretty much have a pretty good tight spot over there at the guard spot. Torrey, you can be in play. Minot will be a GPP option just because his minutes have not reached the pinnacle up there like what we have for Torrey, like what we have for Jalen Wilson, especially in that last game. 26 minutes was just on fire, and I really do actually like him for the upside, especially if he does get the start. That's a decent value option we can get to on today. EJ Letty, if he's going to get the start again today, definitely will be looking in his direction as a potential option in play. Not you. Travis, I always want to keep calling him Travis Etienne. Tyson, if he's going to actually be out there in the starting lineup again, I definitely don't mind looking towards Tyson as a potential GPP option as well right there. But definitely, we're going to be able to get some value from this game. Like, it's going to be something. Of course, it starts at 6:30, but we should know exactly who's in and out, and possibly should have a starting lineup before the 6 o'clock lock. But even if we don't, definitely, if you just plug in some type of value, like maybe a Minot, or are you going to here to the Wilson or something like that, you should be pretty fine in regards regards to that. Won't get you 0, should definitely at least get you about 20 to 25 fantasy points with upside to be even better. But I'll say Wilson would be my favorite play over there from the Brooklyn Nets. Miami Heat taking on Toronto Raptors. This is actually a game that somewhat matters over here, especially for the Miami Heat. Wiggins and opposing power forwards going up against Toronto. I don't know what's going on with Scotty Barnes' defense, but it's been a little lacking. Last couple of power forwards going up against them. And of course, you know, my boy JT went out there 55 fantasy points. GG Jackson, 40 fantasy points. Precious Achiuwa, 56 fantasy points. Tobias Harris, 28 fantasy points. So definitely a spot, especially if he's able to knock down a shot. Of course, you are going to have the full lineup of, you have Bam, Tyler Hero, Powell, Wiggins, pretty much being out there. So definitely usage might be a little bit of cap right there, but 5,500 is not a bad option to go to right there. With Tyler Hero being back, I really don't like, of course, going to my boy Jaime Jaquez. Jaime has been balling last couple of games, 32, 30, 32 fantasy points, but pay attention and remember Norman Powell was out. So that's where those minutes were able to come from over there. And then, of course, Hero being out. That's where he was actually able to get a boost in regards to some of the minutes, especially that last game going up against the Washington Wizards. It was the Washington Wizards on top of that. This game expected to be a little bit closer. GPP option and pivot off of Andrew Wiggins, but I would rather play Wiggins than Jaime Jaquez here in this spot. Outside of that, Bam Adebayo would probably be my only other option that I can go to over here for Miami. We do know that centers versus Toronto is actually a pretty decent spot. 39 and 32 fantasy points in his 2 games going up against them. And I just saw Quetta drop 39 fantasy points versus them. 8,800, a little bit up there, especially when I do have a Tatum and I do have Jaylen Brown and stuff like that on today's slate where I actually could pay up for those type of studs. But we kind of can't be picky. And I do feel like the studs or the spend up are going to come from these 2 games right here. Miami and Toronto, Charlotte, and the Boston Celtics. Like, that's where it's going to come from on today's slate, at least in my eyes, when I look at it as I continue to break down the slate over here for us. On the Toronto Raptors side of things, if Quickly's going to be out, then yes, I'll have interest in Scotty Barnes. If Quickly's going to be back, I will down what I would be interested in looking over there for Scotty, to be honest, just because the price wouldn't be too appealing for me if he's actually going to be back out there. Now, if Quickly's back, I'm not going to go towards him unless they tell me like it's full good to go or anything like that, but I doubt it. I'm pretty sure he will be capped or have some type of minute limit on him or anything. Hold on one second. If Quickly's going to be out, then I definitely will be looking towards Shaheed out there for the minutes and the upside that he does bring. And then Walters will be another one that you can consider right there. He's been playing some pretty significant and pretty good minutes over the last several games. The 5K is not bad if Quickly is out, but if Quickly's back, I'm not going to go to either one of those guys or mess with it right there because the rotations of minutes, to me, it's not going to be worth the headache. The RJ Barrett and the Brandon Ingram GPP options you can go to, not must plays, but definitely worth a direction or a look. BI, he's played pretty well going up against them. He's been all right. RJ Barrett has definitely been up and down on the season. Hasn't played in either game versus Miami, so no true measuring stick, but he has been balling the last couple of games without Iman Quickly being out there. Charlotte Hornets going up against Boston Celtics. This one should be a good one and an interesting one right here. Honestly, no one truly sticks out DVP wise, but a trend is what sticks out to me, and that's going to be my boy Miles Bridges, actually balling out over the last several games. Now, he hasn't played well versus Boston Celtics on the season at all, but 46, 31, 36, 38 fantasy points, looking pretty good over his last several games. Definitely interested 6K GPP option if he can keep the good times rolling right here. I will say Boston, they do tend to give up some 3-point shots. So Brandon Miller, my boy Concanipple, who is unfortunately gotten lapped. He's now been lapped by Cooper Flagg after the back-to-back really great games that he's had for Rookie of the Year. Now, unless Con goes out here and he's like the driving force on why they beat the Boston Celtics, maybe it could tilt back towards him. Because to me, Con's been more consistent, of course, versus Cooper. Cooper, I understand, he was in a hyperbolic chamber because he was being trained and taught to play at point over there for them for what the Dallas Mavericks are trying to develop for the future. So Concanipple, GPP option, don't mind him. I would say I don't mind paying the 1K up for Brandon Miller. And then, of course, LaMelo Ball, GPP option, because LaMelo, it's going to have to be a very big game for Melo for them to stay in this game and for them to have a good one right here. Now, they did beat the Boston Celtics the first time they played versus them. They lost the second time versus them. They have actually beat the Boston Celtics in Boston. So it's doable. It's possible. In that game, Melo played 23 minutes and had 35 fantasy points. So if they can do it, it will be on the back of LaMelo Ball going out here and just balling out, having a really great day going up against them. So definitely don't mind paying up for Melo as a GPP contrarian option piece that you can get to on today's slate. On the Boston Celtics side of things, also as well, if Kobe White is going to be out, maybe we're going to see some more minutes for Green, or it just solidifies more minutes that Khan and LaMelo Ball will probably have to just be out there to play, which could be a possibility, but nothing truly stick and stone right there. And DB Tate, GPP option, not really too interested in him over there. For the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum has just been lights out. That's why he is now priced up at 10K. I still think it's crazy. It's wild that we already got Jason Tatum back to his 10K price tag. Now, with that being said, will I take the 200 less for, I don't know, Jaylen Brown? Yeah. yes, I will. I definitely don't mind going towards JT instead of paying up there for Jason Tatum. I don't mind it at all. I will say Jason Tatum versus the Charlotte Hornets. He only played in 1 out of 2 games, and he dropped 45 fantasy points in that game versus them. Tatum, of course, he played in the second game going up against them where there was no Jaylen Brown, and he dropped 55 fantasy points in that one right there. So definitely you can pick your poison, but I would imagine that the Boston Celtics studs are going to be pretty decently owned on today's slate, especially where we have nothing but value on today's slate. So you're going to have to pick some type of stud. Either one, I don't feel like you can go wrong with them. Jason Tatum has a hot hand. If more than likely, we're going to get Jaylen Brown being higher owned, to be honest, just because he's the 200 cheaper and we've seen the consistency from him all season. So maybe Tatum would be your GPP option. Jaylen Brown would be your cash option you could take right there. Derek White, I don't mind looking towards him, but with the way that the Twin Towers, the Twin Wings are just playing and just balling out lately, I would say GPP right there. Definitely be a pivot that you could pivot down here to them. Peyton Pritchard, I really don't feel like paying $600-800 for a guy off the bench where I can go play Trey Jones instead on today's slate, or just any of the other value that I have, Ayo Dosunmu or something like that can go get me what Peyton Pritchard should be able to give me off the bench. I can take that for a starter in one of these other games. Quetta, okay, I'm not really too interested in playing centers going up against the Charlotte Hornets. He did have 33 fantasy points in the second game going up against them on the season, so that's a plus for him right there, but not a must play in my eyes. Vuk, especially with him being back, that's going to should slowly eat into those minutes over there for Quetta, so I'm not really going to go or mess with that right there. Sam Hauser, Squirman, all those guys, GPP options, not must plays or anything that I'm truly interested in. Last but not least, the Utah Jazz taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Again, young guys, Kyle Filipowski, flipper, go right back to him. I talked about it when he played going up against my Thunder. I mean, like, he should be able to go out here and be able to do it. I mean, he's going to play. He's been playing at least 30 minutes. I would imagine that he should still play 30 minutes here. And the matchup is beautiful going up against the New Orleans Pelicans, who have a hard time guarding opposing forwards, who have a hard time guarding opposing centers and stuff like that. So definitely we'll be looking towards flipper. He hasn't had the best days versus them at all, 23 and 25 fantasy points, but I've said that before and he's looked pretty good. So definitely don't mind going to Filipowski. Bryce Sensabaugh, he's been out there playing some pretty solid minutes as well. Definitely could look towards him. Surprised that he played practically 43 minutes last game, but definitely will be looking towards him, especially if there's not going to be an Ace Bailey. That should be some more usage and whatnot over here for Sensabaugh. And I do like the upside for him with opposing guards going up against the Pelicans. Had 29 and 19 fantasy points off of the bench going up against them on the season. Outside of that, if there's going to be an Ace Bailey, I imagine we might get like a Conchar, or maybe I can put Chandler into the starting lineup as well, depending on who actually truly gets to start here. But if it's going to be Conchar, then maybe we can mess with that. 4,800 is a pretty solid value play that we can get to right there. But if it's going to be Chandler, then Chandler, we could definitely mess with that value option. And then, of course, it should be a couple more shot attempts and stuff like that. Stuff in the stat sheet for Cody Williams. Unfortunately, did not pan out going up against his brother. Only 3 of 11 from the field, but he played the minutes, 36 minutes. I cannot be mad at that. Just sucks that the results were not fully there for what I was expecting. Other than that, not really going to go too crazy with anything else over there. I'd rather honestly play from the other side. So I was really expecting Zion to play, 25. I'm really expecting for them to slowly start to shut these guys down. Like, I don't see why we're still playing Saddiq Bey 39 minutes. Zion is still out here playing. Well, he played 28 in that one. Jeremiah Fears, he played 37. Like, Fears should be getting a ton of the burn and run, and Fears is going to be very much highly owned on today. This would be the play I'd rather play over playing Peyton Pritchard anyway. But Fears, no DeJounte Murray, he should be getting a start right here. If Messi misses, which I expect him to, then we should get Derek Queen back into the starting lineup. There is no reason you don't have Carlo over there. There is no reason that we should be getting Looney, DeAndre Jordan, none of these guys at center when you have Derek Queen. Derek Queen, if he starts, him, Fears, those are going to be your highest 2 Northern Pelican options over here on today's slate, and they should be rightfully so. I'm not really messing with Saddiq Bey. I'm not messing with Zion. I'm not messing with Herb Jones. I see no reason to go to any of those guys over there at all whatsoever. with everything dying down, because of course we're coming to the dog days of the NBA, while as we get ready to ramp up for the playoffs, don't go too crazy. Definitely, you have to pay attention to the news. You have to pay attention to the news, especially up to lock for some of these slates like this right here, when there's so many injury news and stuff going on. Luckily, we are getting some of this news earlier in the day, and we have a good idea going into the slate at night. The best two games on today's slate, straight out the gate, is going to be that the Charlotte Hornets taking on the Boston Celtics, and that Miami and Toronto. Those are going to be the best two games to like get your stud from, that I truly believe. Everything else is going to be where you're going to want to pick and choose your value. Get those guys that have the solid minutes, the solid minutes going up against a poor defensive matchup. That's going to be the best bet, best options right there over there. All right, guys, good luck to you. Be safe out here in the world. Tread lightly. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't done so. Peace.